Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Katherine Gray.
Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. We hope you visited our website and Facebook page, and of course are following the conversation on our Twitter and Instagram at My360Karma. As always, today we have on an amazing lady. She used to work in the music industry, and now she is a health and wellness coach, also a podcast host. We're so happy to welcome Sheila Melody. Hi.
Hi, Katherine. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be on your show.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored to have you. And I just love the beautiful energy that you bring to the table. And it's no wonder because we met through such a beautiful energy person, Andrea Quinn.
Yes.
The quintessentials that we love. And also at Marcy Cole's event,
Marcy
Epic
Cole's
Day.
event. That was an epic day.
Those two ladies really rock, and it's just nice to be in a circle of such purpose-driven women.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I always meet such fascinating people through them, so it's good for us to that we've gotten to connect. I know I was on your podcast, Sound, Mind, Body, which is awesome. And you've been doing that for over a year?
I have been doing it for over a year. Just we launched December 1st last year, so almost a year.
Yeah.
But yes.
It goes by quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And I have learned so much, and I have been inspired by so many people like yourself.
Thank you.
And I have hopefully shared a lot of new information for people and help people. And that's really why I started it.
Yeah.
Because I was... I do have a strength training studio, which is a very foundational aspect of health and fitness.
Yes.
That I believe in. And then I just realized there's so many other aspects of health and fitness that I've tried and I believe in. I believe in the whole picture of mind, body, and spirit.
And I totally agree with you. It's never just about physical. It's about mental and spiritual and emotional and that whole package. And I love that you bring that to the table. And that's a focus of yours for women, women that have challenges like breast cancer. I know you've helped some of them, and people with different challenges, and just creating optimal health. And it's a wonderful message. I want to back up and just say you were born in Aurora, Illinois. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and
Aurora, Illinois, otherwise known as Wayne's World.
Yeah, you told me that. I not for nothing, but I hadn't really heard of it. But when you said it was like Wayne's World, I'm like, okay. And you said your brother was like Wayne.
He was.
Yeah. And you come from a big family, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Six children.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's
I was
a big
third.
family. Yeah.
Yes, a very big family, and you just get you're kind of on your own a little earlier when you come from a big family, because you just are like, okay, if I don't get out there and do it myself, no one's going to pay attention to me. They're worried about so many things.
And it's so funny, when we're a kid, we're probably thinking that's a crappy thing or something, but when you get older, you realize what it did for you.
Yes.
And made you, independent and resilient and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And
that's exactly how I feel.
And you had to be pretty independent to pick up and leave there and come to Los Angeles. I know you had shared with me the story that you originally came to California because your brother was stationed in the military in San Diego.
Right. Or he was in Lancaster.
Oh, yeah, I know Lancaster.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great place. It's like a land boom going on there.
Is there now?
Yeah.
Well, back then there wasn't.
Yeah, no, now there's a lot happening. They're trying to make that the green capital of the world.
Oh,
They're
really?
building solar and electric buses, and
my gosh.
it's really crazy what's going on out there.
I should check out Lancaster
totally.
again.
So we digress. But you came here, you were planning planning to live with your brother, and then he up and got married on you.
Yes, he did. I was in the wedding, but I decided I didn't want to live with my brother and his newly married bride.
Yeah,
and
I think that was wise.
So I ended up coming to LA by myself. I had just turned 21.
Oh my gosh, ballsy girl.
It was ignorance is bliss kind of a thing, where I felt like I was protected. I was so protected by my just pure determination.
Yes.
You know, there was no plan B.
Yeah.
I was like so excited to be here.
Yeah.
And so excited that there was nothing going to stop me.
I love it. And so your dream was to work in the music industry, and you manifested that.
I did.
Yeah, I love that story.
It took a couple years, but I did.
Well, a couple years. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, people come here with big dreams, and you know, I think what you just said was the key thing. Don't come with a plan B.
I have heard that before from
probably from
other
Andrea.
people. Oh yeah, probably Andrea. Yeah, and you know, it's scary. It's not easy, and I know many of us who are transplants from other parts of the U.S. have come here and with dreams, and that's what I loved about Los Angeles.
Yes.
Is that people come here with a dream, and other people support you in that. And I feel like sometimes, you know, like where I came from, it's just not as much support, you know, for pursuing a dream.
Yeah, I mean, there's an upside downside to LA, and the upside is exactly what you just said. I think it attracts people that want to do big things and make a difference, and you know, they're here to, you know, really just break out of the box of wherever they came from and make things happen.
Right.
So it attracts really interesting people.
Interesting,
right? Yeah.
and extraordinary people.
Yeah, extraordinary, yeah. And so how did you get into the music business? Because I know we talked about you don't have to know how you're going to do something. You just have to know why you want to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was really passionate about being involved in the music business. And when I first came here, there was like a slump going on in the music business, and I went to a entertainment agency. It was called the Friedman Agency. I don't know if it's still around, but it was entertainment-based jobs.
Yeah.
And so I was told the girl, you know, I want to be in the music business, and she's like, well, you know, they're laying people off, and I don't know if that's possible. And I said, look, I'll take whatever I can because I have to work, but that's my ultimate. That's what I would love.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, I had gone on some other jobs, and this position came open at William Morris Agency.
Which is only one of the biggest agencies in the country.
Yeah, and the reason it came open was because the girl who was the assistant was moving into another position. It wasn't because of, you know what I mean, that things move into place. The universe moves things into place for you that you can't predict.
Right.
And I went in there. She got me the job because I had said to her, that's what I would love to do.
Yeah.
So she called me up, I remember, and she said, because my last name is Melody, and she called me up and she said, Sheila, I got an interview for you at the music department, at the music booking department at William Morris. You're going to go in there, you're going to say, my name is Sheila Melody, and I want this job.
And I know you did that.
I did, and it was really, I got the job, and I was so like over the moon. I felt like this was my first step into the legitimately.
You could see that it was going to take you there.
Yeah.
And I love that it was like a slump and in the industry, and people were naysaying, you're never going to be able to do that. And you were like, nope, that's what I want to do, and I'm manifesting it. I love that you stayed the course and you didn't get, sidetracked by that.
Well, it was a big lesson for me at the time. It really was a demonstration in just go for what you want and don't worry about how it's going to happen.
Right.
Because you don't know how it's going to happen.
But you did take the steps. You said, this is what I want. You put it out there. You pursued it. So you end up at William Morris, and then I love this story. Like, they're handling everyone from Madonna to Barry Manilow, and you end up with an agent who decides to start a new division.
Right.
In heavy metal. Like, how wild is that?
Exactly. It was the time when, like Motley Crue was just released, and all those, Bon Jovi, all these kinds of bands were like big at the time. And he decided he was going to start the heavy metal division of William Morris Agency.
Now, let me ask you this. When that happened, were you a heavy metal person at the time?
Not, I had...
You
know,
don't
my
strike
friends,
me as a heavy metal person.
I know.
Just saying.
My friends from growing up in Illinois,
Yeah.
I had seen bands like AC/DC and Judas Priest, and, they are heavy metal bands, and UFO, so I had friends that were into those bands, and I knew about them. But I wouldn't have chosen to say, I'm going to go work in the heavy metal world,
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, I like all kinds of music.
But
how
cool that you kind of were in the cutting edge of that. Because,
I was.
He started that division, so how
and
leading
everybody
edge,
said
cutting
he
edge.
couldn't do it either.
Oh, wow.
That was another thing. It was like everybody was like, looking down, oh, gosh, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then he was able to get a client, Ronnie James Dio, I told you.
Yeah.
And
who people in heavy metal all know who that is.
They all know who it is.
Yeah.
And he had just released his solo album.
Uh-huh.
And it charted at about number 54 or something like that. And everybody was saying, it's going to die. It's going to die. Well, the guy I worked for was like, we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I saw him, plan it out. He planned it. We went across the U.S. and then came back. By the time we came back, he was selling out the Forum.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I saw that happen. So that was another triumph. And then everybody was going, oh, well, I guess you can do that. And so then they started treating the agent I worked for differently.
Oh, I love it.
You see this whole
And what was the agent's name?
His name was Kevin Scott.
Okay.
And we're friends again now. We lost track of each other totally, and then we just we're now friends again.
Oh, how wonderful!
He got
so, how many years
completely
did you work in that business?
I worked in that business for many years. And
he was affiliated with Black Sabbath. You told me. Is that right?
Ronnie was.
Ronnie,
yes,
yeah.
He was in Black Sabbath. He was in a band called Rainbow, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Yeah.
And so
I think a lot of people, if they're big heavy metal fans, obviously they know Black Sabbath.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Most people know, even if they don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Even I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up working for his wife, Wendy Dio. She came in to William Morris one time, and I had given my notice from William Morris because I realized at the time it was a real old boy network kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Gee, what a surprise.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Them in any other industry.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm only going to be an assistant forever.
Oh, right. So you could
I'm
move
never
up.
going to really move up. So I gave my notice. That was another thing. I just said, you know what? Giving my notice. When you're young, too, you kind of leap before you're a little more risk-taking, you know.
Yes.
And then Wendy walked in that day. She said, I heard you gave your notice. And I said, yes. And she's like, do you want to come work for me? And I went, yes, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh my God.
I feel like.
And this is Ronnie Dios's wife.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was even a wider experience in the music business because she managed him. So it was like album production, video production, touring,
my God, how
recording.
Cool. Oh,
so I was
wow.
involved with all of that. I worked for her for, through the 90s.
Wow.
And then we just, and then I got into, I also worked for an attorney. And
then when did you launch your fitness coaching career and your studio and all of the health and fitness that you're focused on?
Well,
was that in the 2000s?
That was in the 2000s. I mean, I was always into health and fitness.
Yes.
And I was actually a...
so even when you were in the music industry, you were big into health and fitness.
Yes,
yeah.
Always. And, it doesn't, heavy metal and being into health and fitness doesn't really seem like it matches up.
No. I always
yeah.
think that people can have more than one thing that they love.
Right.
Like, I think it's perfectly cool that you love music and you love health and fitness. And I think throughout our lives, we can always reinvent ourselves to do things of different passions and loves that we have and different gifts, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah,
and I
we don't have
believe
to do
it's
the same
never
thing for 50 years.
Yeah, and it's never too late. And I think if you're interested in it, try it. And I had actually, when I first came to LA, I was a aerobics instructor for a short period of time at it was called. It was one of those like Nautilus or something. It was,
Yeah.
I had done that before. Before I came to LA, I was an aerobics instructor at Chicago Health and Racquet Club.
Okay,
in
so
Illinois.
That's in your DNA.
Yeah, it was in my DNA, and so I just started to do that. But
and I didn't want to forget to mention that Ronnie passed away from cancer, and his wife, who you worked for, started a charity, right?
A cancer fund, yes.
And I want to talk about that because I lost both my parents to cancer, and I want to talk about this unique thing that the foundation has,
because he passed away.
A new research thing where they can test things with saliva.
Right.
Yeah, like tell me about that.
Well, unfortunately, Ronnie passed away in 2010. He had stomach cancer. And because this is an insidious disease, it's very, people just think that they have very bad, indigestion.
Right.
And he dealt with it. He would just deal with it. He was always a professional. He never canceled a show. But looking back, we were like, oh my gosh, he always had a problem with that for like 4 years prior.
Right.
And no one really knew how serious it could be. And so when he finally went to the doctor, it was stage 4. And, he fought a good fight. And at one point we thought, okay, he's getting better. And then we lost him. And it was very shocking. It was one of the first times where I think I realized where you're like, I can't do anything to stop this. This is going to happen.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt when I've lost people to cancer. You feel like you can see the train coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Yeah, it's a horrible feeling.
It is.
So, what is the foundation that you
Wendy
created?
started? It's called the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund.
I love it.
Stand Up and Shout was one of his songs, and it makes me cry. But it was. We founded it in 2010 because she wanted to do something. Actually, when Ronnie was sick, he wanted to. He vowed to do something about it.
Oh, I love that.
And so Wendy was just, fulfilling that promise.
Love that.
And she's just one of those people too that has always been a mentor for me. She was a female manager in the music business.
In the male-oriented,
very
dominated industry, right?
She was a mentor to me.
Good
she
for
always has
her.
been, and she still is.
Yeah.
And so we started this cancer fund, and we've gotten to the point we've done some concerts, and we've done some compilation albums and things. But what we do now is 2 events. We do a bowling event in October. We just had it. Mm-hmm. And then we do a motorcycle ride.
Oh,
so we call it the Bowl for Ronnie and the Ride for Ronnie. And the motorcycle ride is in May, and then the bowling event is in October, November. And those are our 2 big events. We are currently donating to a UCLA study. Mm-hmm. That's what you were talking about. UCLA, they're developing a saliva test that you can take that will show you early indicators of stomach cancer because it is treatable. It's very treatable.
But people don't know they have it.
Yeah, they don't
think
know
it's
they
just
have it.
indigestion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're trying to educate and we're trying to prevent. And
so this product, it's not out yet?
It's not out yet, but
it's
within
coming.
the next year or so,
Oh,
it should
that's
be out.
wonderful.
We've been donating for the last, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We just, at the last bowling event, we presented a check to them that's going to pay the salary of their research scientists for 1 more year.
Oh, my
And
gosh,
so we
that's
established the Ronnie James Dio Fellowship.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wonderful way to give back and make a difference with this horrible cancer disease, and I know there's just so many different types of it, but it's great that you guys are focused on that since it's so undetectable, probably more than most.
Yeah, and, breast cancer gets a lot of
attention. Yeah.
Stomach cancers.
Yeah, you don't hear so much. Yeah.
So we're just educating too.
Well, how wonderful that you've taken what you're doing and putting energy into that, into giving back. Even though everything you do is about giving back, because health and fitness is about helping other people have health and fitness, right?
Right. And, I became much more aware I guess, when you get a little bit older, you become a little more aware of how important health.
Maybe you're getting older. I'm not.
I'll never be as young as we are right now.
That's right.
So it was when this was in 2010 when he passed away.
Yeah.
And in 2010, I think that's when I decided to take a more focused view on health and wellness.
Yeah.
And I became certified in the strength training. It's called slow motion, high intensity strength training.
Right.
It's like a very slow and safe and effective strength training. And it's only once a week. And
And your studio is where?
My studio is in Toluca Lake or Burbank area, Toluca Lake.
Right.
And
so you're saying someone could come by your studio and work out one day a week, and it would make such a difference in their muscular health.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then over and above your studio, you also do online coaching or on-phone coaching or even in-person coaching to help people create a healthy lifestyle, a healthy diet.
Yep.
And I think it's important too, for people to have someone to talk to and bounce things off of.
Accountability.
So if people are, accountability is so key. It's why Weight Watchers and things like that work. But Weight Watchers and things like that aren't for everybody. Some people want a one-on-one thing. They don't want to have to go to a group or do it online.
Yes.
They want to work with a person. And so I love that work that you're doing, and I hope if somebody's looking for that kind of a health coach that they'll reach out to you. Your website, I don't have in front of me.
I do the health and wellness coaching at my studio, which is informfitnessla.com.
Informfitnessla.com.
Or I also can do it through my podcast, which I started because it covers all those other, avenues of health.
Right.
Which is soundmindbodypodcast.com.
Soundmindbodypodcast.com. I guess people could Google Sheila Melody too.
True.
Right.
Yeah. I think they can find me that way. If you do Sound Mind Body Podcast, you'll find that easily. Mm-hmm. And informfitnessla.com, all the information is on there. And I'd also like to offer any listeners who are listening from the LA area, if you come in to Inform Fitness Toluca Lake and tell us that you heard it on here on Catherine Gray's show,
Live, Love, Thrive,
then we'll give you a free consultation and a try with the workout.
Great.
So I'd like to offer that to all your listeners in the LA area.
I love that. And so your studio has been there for quite a while.
We are going on almost 6 years.
Oh my gosh, 6 years!
So it all.
And where exactly are you located there in Toluca Lake? On
we're
what street?
Right. Okay. Do you know where Bob's Big Boy is?
Yeah.
So we're a block west of Bob's Big Boy on Riverside Drive.
So, but you can't work out and then go have lunch at Bob's Big Boy, right?
You could. I guess
not a good idea, but
yeah.
I love it. So, what would you like? What is it that you like most about working with people about their health and fitness? Like, do you have a success story you like to share as we close?
Well, I guess one thing that I've learned by having the studio and having people come to us for health and wellness, for fitness, is that the successful people just make it a habit. They make it a habit. It's not just the diet. It's not just a temporary thing you're doing, whether it's
a lifestyle.
Mind, body, and spirit. Make it a lifestyle of, that health. And if you go off, here or there for holidays or whatever, don't beat yourself up.
Right.
But
I'm glad you're saying that since Thanksgiving is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
And we're going to two Thanksgivings, one on Thursday, one on Friday, so I won't beat myself up, at least not till Monday.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up. Just think of it like a lifestyle and that there are many aspects to it. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's those little changes that you make on a daily basis that will help you to stay healthy, balanced, and well of mind, body, and spirit.
So little changes that make a big difference. And I know you've helped women with breast cancer and all types of different challenges. And so if you're out there and you're having that kind of a challenge, visit Inform Studio.
Yes.
And listen to Mind Body, Sound Mind
Body
podcast.com. Sheila Melody, such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me,
Love
Catherine.
the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah. So be sure to check out Mind Body, Sound Mind Body podcast.com. Sheila Melody, she's a doll. You'll love her. If you need a great health and wellness coach, she's your girl. Take it easy this week. Have a wonderful holiday. Check back in with us next Wednesday at noon. We're always here with fabulous guests and amazing women. Make it a great week yourself. Hugs and happiness.